Think of a millionaire. What comes to mind? Think of a ladies' man. What kind of person do you envision? I bet it's someone muscular, tall, charming, has a way with his words. In the case of a millionaire, probably a dude in a suit, professional, the Bill Gates type. I doubt any of you thought of a 5'4", 150-pound Indian Canadian. Well, you're all wrong, because Justin Marc isn't just a ladies' man. He's the ladies' man of all ladies' men. He's also not just a millionaire. He's a millionaire maker. He will teach you how to become a millionaire, at least according to him. Justin Marc, also known as Drunk Justin, got his beginnings in the internet world as a pickup artist as early as 10 years ago. You can find videos of him teaching you how to go for the kiss. Out of all the clips that were even of him, they either looked blasted out of their mind or gave him a pity kiss.
It's just something you do. You do it when you're ready. If you're ready right away and that's how you feel, go for it.
But that's essentially Justin's brand. A pickup artist who, despite not being conventionally attractive and short, can get any woman that he wants. Off the bat, that sounds about as realistic as pigs flying, but Justin is known to have receipts on receipts. These are videos of him in the field actually picking up women. The first clips I showed you were years ago. As he progressed as a world-class pickup artist, he began doing much more cold approach, finding allegedly random women that he found attractive, walking and in some cases running up to them and striking up a conversation. In one of his videos titled 5-Foot Indian Approaching 100 White Girls in a Night, he does this almost 100 times, and it's just as cringe-inducing as the title suggests.
Damn, look at her, look at that booty, that light-skinned booty.
Before we move on, I must point out that he continually stresses the idea of picking up white girls and the fact that he's Indian and short. It might seem innocuous, but there's a very significant reason for this. The message he's trying to portray is that anyone and everyone can succeed with his methods and teachings, i.e. men who are on the shorter side and men from India who typically have unfair negative stereotypes attributed to them and often have it harder in the dating market, and even ugly guys. Despite Justin getting a nose job and facial masculinization surgery in Mexico, looks don't matter at all. Anyone can pay him and get results.
Well, I did my chin, I did my nose, it cost me $1,800 US, which is nothing, right? And then thing is, it's like, if I was gonna do it now, I probably never would. And I was just thinking, if I could make myself like 5% more attractive or whatever, isn't that awesome? Wouldn't that get me hotter girls? Wouldn't that get me better results in my career?
So if you're an ugly short guy, Justin is the guy who will take your money. I mean, he'll help you and teach you how to get laid, get your dream girl, and find your wife. In these approaching X amount of women videos, he's with a group of guys who are actually paying him to teach them how to pick up women. Now, Justin's not the most charming guy ever, but one thing I will give him, assuming these girls aren't plants like I know many of them are, is that he tries hard, like very hard, almost too hard.
Do you want me to take a photo for you? I take photo. No? Where are you from? Okay, I love you.
At this point, he wasn't showing videos of him making out with random girls that he likely paid to be with him or are in some sort of transactional relationship with him. In fact, at this point, he was actually showing himself striking out and giving a, while skewed in the direction of him being Prince Charming, more accurate showing of how successful he is with women. Justin isn't the most congruent person, as these people who sell these courses tend to be. From watching his horrible podcast appearances, it almost seems like this guy says whatever pops into his head with no rhyme or reason.
Just give me like a little cheap Airbnb, a cell phone, a little Android phone, and I will get laid more than any guy in that city using dating apps. It's savage.
He actually got his name Drunk Justin because he apparently used to have a serious drinking issue.
Dude, I used to have a huge drinking problem. Like, imagine working in nightlife, doing all these parties.
And in the same interview in which he said he's completely sober and how beneficial it is to be sober, he later said he takes Super Mario mushrooms, if you're catching my drift. He also does a bunch of mental gymnastics to explain how he's sober, yet still takes these power-ups. Newsflash, Justin, just because you take what you consider to be a small amount doesn't mean you're sober.
Hey, I gotta ask a question, mushroom related, because a lot of people talk about microdosing.
Yeah,
what happens when you microdose?
Oh, dude, it's great. Love microdosing.
So you don't get any of the hallucinogenic effects?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't get high. Like, you don't hallucinate.
Okay.
But it's like a mood enhancer. It's almost like an antidepressant.
Anyways, his first content was the corny street interviews that you see everyone do now. You know, the ones where you find girls then ask them questions outside the club. Well, he was actually one of the pioneers of this, interestingly enough, even doing these as far back as late 2019 and early 2020. In these riveting videos, he asked the lovely ladies extremely thought-provoking questions such as spit or swallow.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a really interesting one. Do you spit or swallow?
What kind of question is that?
The great value add in these is the fact that he doesn't only ask interview questions, he flirts with these girls as well, showing guys how to use these street interviews as an in to get with these girls.
Thank you, thank you.
So like, do you spit or swallow?
Oh my god.
If we were to hook up tonight, would you spit or swallow?
Oh my god.
I eat vegan.
Not that I need to explain this, but this is not Riz. This is not charisma, this is not sexy, nor is this charming. This is the flirting of a socially uncalibrated child. He thinks the women and him are sharing a moment and laughing together, but they're not laughing with him, they're laughing at him. And for some reason, he's found success doing these. He later transitioned out of street interviews to straight pickup.
Excuse me. I really like your style. What's your name, Justin? You get a hug. You're adorable. That's right. I had to say hi. What are you up to right now? You good?
It's pretty obvious he was just as bad at pickup. When it comes to people portraying any image online, whether it's wealth, dating skills, business skills, anything at all, they need to pass 3 tests. One is the eye test. You have to look at them and not be able to instantly know this guy is BS. But it can't just end there, because there are many people who are aware of this and do their level best to show an exterior of opulence, wealth, aristocracy, or whatever they're trying to portray to you, when in reality, they're anything but that. Next is the ear test. Do they sound like they know what they're talking about? When they're doing their thing, the thing that they're selling you on, do they sound knowledgeable, or are things arbitrary and vague? Or maybe they're even outright incorrect or bad practices. And finally, how much are they trying to sell you on this thing? Is the information or lifestyle that they're promoting something that seems more salesy than a here's the info I know and I'm imparting it onto you kind of thing? If they fail these questions, you can bet they're a fake guru, scammer, or charlatan of some sort. Justin here fails all of these, and miserably so. The eye test. Although the weakest test and arguably the one you can perhaps fail and still be knowledgeable, he still fails this nonetheless. An example is Elon Musk. Doesn't exactly pass the eye test in regards to the behaviors of a rich person, passes the other 2 with flying colors. For Justin, he's always a few years late on his style. Looking back at his earlier videos, in each one, it's as if I prompted AI to create a character of someone who is late to every fashion trend and told it to exaggerate it as much as possible. He just doesn't have style. His frame doesn't scream masculine or attractive, and we all already know how much of a hard time men who are vertically challenged have on the dating market, however unfair it might be. So I don't think anyone will argue with me that he fails the first test. But second, the ear test. He fails that horribly too. It sounds like someone's playing a character of your stereotypical high school jock from the 80s movie, just completely anti-seductive. The words I'd use to describe his interactions with women are annoying, desperate, delusional. I'd add cringe, but that's a given. And finally, how much is he trying to sell you his value? Using Elon Musk once again, he doesn't need to reiterate every interview how rich he is or how smart he is. We can assume based on his works, and very clearly, Tesla is a value add. In the case of Justin, everything is sales to him. He calls his coaching and training sales. Everything is clearly seen through the lens of making $1.
So I quit, and that weekend I think I sold another client, sold him for like $120. And I was thinking, dude, in 4 hours I made $120. I was making $9 an hour working this job I didn't want to make.
I know most of you don't need this kind of coaching, so a good analogy to help understand how terrible this approach is the analogy of a fitness trainer. Imagine a fitness trainer who, instead of talking about how much potential you as an untrained individual have, spoke about how many clients they secured and how much they're making from training guys just like you. That's exactly what these gurus like Justin do, but we're so desensitized to it seems normal. So we know Justin fails all these tests, yet he very clearly isn't broke. He clearly has a thriving business, enough money to pay editors for his videos, enough to keep up with the expenses of constantly having a camera crew on his social media accounts, and enough to throw these extravagant parties. So that means there are people falling for this? Who are these people? Well, it's exactly guys like Justin. Justin spoke about how before he became who he was now, he was an anxious guy struggling with women. Now he's just struggling with women. So basically, to keep it short, he clearly has no anxiety now, for better or for worse. He would have been the type of person to fall for one of these scams, and apparently he actually did.
This kid called me a couple years ago asking for coaching from me personally, and I refused because I think he's a dork.
So he actually fell victim to this before he became this. Hold on to this fact for later in the video. To us, we all know none of the successful pickups are real, and the girls that are genuinely interacting with him make it pretty obvious to say the least.
Well, thank you for being my interview. God bless you. God bless you. I'm going to church tomorrow. I'm going to pray for you. Okay.
I like your outfit. You're super cute. Are you guys sisters? Okay. That was pretty cool.
If everything I've shown you guys so far doesn't prove to you guys this guy's a grade A faker, the fact that not 2 years ago he said this,
Kelsey, when I was up, I've been with like over 250 women.
and then about 3 weeks ago he said this.
I slept with just under 500 women.
That's a lot of girls in such a short period of time. Keep in mind, it's brand new girls only that add to the body count. Also, how can you keep these numbers straight? You're not going into your phone and reading a list. This is all kept in his head. Totally. So what does Justin actually sell to the men who have no experience with women? Who are very clearly out of touch, desperate, and suffering from loneliness? A guy like Justin, who said he was in the same situation, would only be offering something to genuinely help. and he's scamming men out of thousands of dollars for his courses and coaching calls. It never fails with these guys. Looking at Justin's day game mastery course, his cheapest option is the Essentials, which has an array of riveting rewards such as one party with Justin, a wingman locator, a freaking raffle to possibly, maybe, if you're lucky, win a free bootcamp with Justin, and of course, the core curriculum. I'll be damned if I pay for even the base course, but I did read some reviews online and they were pretty much all negative. I did find one good review, and suspecting it was someone in Justin's team or paid by Justin to comment praise for his course, I took a dive into his posting history and he seems to be a real account. Scrolling down a bit further, it all checks out, and my rationalization for how he's making money and the type of people Justin's content appeals to completely checks out. Going back to his page, you might be thinking, wow, this is extremely overpriced for literally no value. And that's what I thought as well. But we thought wrong, because thankfully we can just scroll down and see the great value of daygamemastery.org. Core curriculum is $6K. The entry to win a free bootcamp is worth $30K. Yes, just the entry. He listed that as $30K. Inside this bootcamp, you get advice such as approach 100 girls or don't come back.
You are not allowed to go home until you approach 100 girls. If you go home without approaching 100 girls, I don't want to see you. Don't talk to me.
I struggle to see why you'd pay this guy $30K to be told that, but to each their own. And of course, we get Justin's personal number and a follow back, which is priceless. Honestly, to me, that alone makes the course worth it. Justin is so selfless and wants us to be able to pull all the hot bees in the city too, that he lowered the prices for all of his courses just for us. If you're wondering why he didn't do it for free, since he claims to care so much about helping men level up, well, he just couldn't. He's already giving us so much value, and it took $500,000 to make this course. So there's that. Jokes aside, he's lying obviously and blatantly. His website probably doesn't even cost over $50 monthly to run. How do I know? I've had websites made for $20 a month total, including the domain. And a website like this just isn't costly. I don't even know what testing costs could possibly mean. Travel costs are literally him on vacation blowing money he gets from these courses / promoting, and it's also something he'd have done either way if the course wasn't a thing. And finally, of course, other expenses he pulled right out of his ass. Production costs is the only thing that might be legit, and by legit, I mean over $1,000, if that, if I'm being generous. One more thing about his totally legit course is he has a ton of people and pickup artists helping him out, all of which are not exactly Casanovas just looking at them, but again, looks aren't all that matters. Sadly, in the case of Alex from Playing with Fire, his looks blow his game out of the water.
What's your name? I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. That was such a...
I gotta work now. So.
Yeah, not now. Some other day.
I can't.
What? It's a drink?
No, I can't.
You're gonna look into my blue Russian eyes and tell me you have a boyfriend?
I do.
Wow. I'm heartbroken. What about our moment?
This dude is literally socially disabled to keep it clean for YouTube. He genuinely thinks this is a display of masterful pickup, when in reality, he's genuinely harassing and begging these strangers to go on a date with him. One of the saddest social interactions I've ever seen. There are middle schoolers who are more socially calibrated than this pickup artist. Like, your job is to be social and charming, yet I could do better when I was 13 years old. Again, I'd say who is paying for this, but we know exactly who by now. People who are worse off than Alex and Justin, and that says a lot. But a lady he had on his podcast put it into better words than I ever could.
Because you remind me of this Anthony dude, and he literally had to tell me how many women he pulls a day, and I promise you I wouldn't catch that man with a 10-foot pull.
Your argument for why I pull average women is because I remind you of someone else?
Because I can tell by the way you talk about yourself and the way that you feel the need to justify the way that you pull women. Most men that actually pull bad don't feel the need to justify it and constantly rage about it.
It doesn't just end there with this guy. He fakes his dating profile pictures too as well.
Better version of me. So in like real life, I'm like, well, this photo actually hasn't even been photoshopped. So this photo is actually, there's no face app or anything on that photo. That's just not the one on the left. The one on the right is just yeah, that photo is 100% legit.
His entire persona is carefully crafted, a series of smoke and mirrors designed to lure in the unsuspecting and the unexperienced. Just as he sells all these courses with promises of quick success to socially inept men online, he sells a version of himself that doesn't exist on dating apps. It's kind of poetic, really. These course-selling scammers live their lives in perpetual performance. They are actors in a grand play where nothing is genuine. From their professional promises to their personal profiles, it's all a part of the same act. They literally blur the lines between reality and fiction, hoping their audience is too dumb and won't notice. Justin would have us all believe things like his super special telegram and his phone number is priceless, but in reality, the greatest asset is the illusion of success. If you scroll down on his page, you can see a montage of their victims vouching for him. I can't tell whether they are fully fake like many people say all his reviews are, or if they actually are people who went to his bootcamp. The reason I say that is because while this guy might be a faker, if you were to tell me these guys were in need of help regarding women, let's just say I wouldn't doubt that. Another instructor he works with is a guy named Modern Life Dating. Coincidentally, he was briefly mentioned in the video I did on the scamming technologist, but in a whole different context. Instead of being the victim, he's the perpetrator here. If you sign up for this bootcamp, you're working with a guy who bought his subscribers, thinks if a woman is getting hit in a relationship, she should endure.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
You gotta endure. People are too.
You want to stick in the relationship.
People are just. I mean, look, people nowadays are just these.
And his mantra is money, muscles, game, and of course, he doesn't possess any of that. And for the body he does have right now, he bought it. The man went and got liposuction and was hiding it until one of his friends exposed it to the world. Following this, he later released a damage control documentary.
So apparently some people think I'm trying to hide the fact that I had liposuction done. I had it done on March 2nd, and I talked about it on my channel. The reason this clip was filmed in the way it is, I'm actually creating a documentary for men.
But sadly for him, it didn't do too much to control that damage. Evident in the dislike to like ratio and the top comment. Bro bought a BBL like Bam Man Kevo and is telling other men to work out and get muscles. He also shames women for being overweight, when he took the easy way out and still has the body of an 8th grader. Luckily, at least the comments can see through this nonsense. To be willing to pay thousands to work with Justin and the instructors who co-signed this, you gotta be a nut. Ah yes, nut. There's Hamlet, the tragedy of Macbeth, and then there's Nut. It's a literary masterpiece. In all seriousness, the only thing those 3 works have in common is the fact they're fiction. Nothing much to say on this because the website is broken, yet he still links it in every single video to this day. Justin should be thanking God it's gone because I know that website would have been a treasure trove just the same. But on second thought, maybe I should be thanking God I don't have to see it because on the website for his course, there's, well, banned videos. Yes, this guy's pulling out all the stops for these course sales. Honing back in on Justin himself here, and on the topic of image, he just always maintained that douchey aura he had about himself, but now it's on steroids. Some of you may have heard of a guy named Andrew Tate. You know, took the internet by storm with his affiliate marketing scheme. I mean, Men's Improvement Group. Yeah, well, Justin saw him and saw God. He thought to himself, this man is everything I need to be, and instantly put on that persona. Anytime this guy's interviewed, he somehow finds a way to insert Andrew Tate's name in there.
She likes Andrew Tate. I asked her already. I thought she was like, hey, Andrew.
So? Oh, you like him too? Oh, okay.
There we go. What? Is that a lie? You actually like Andrew Tate? Our girls are like, I hate Andrew Tate.
The only thing similar about the two is they both are obsessed with button-up shirts that are never buttoned up, and both peddle the vague self-improvement shtick to impressionable young men. Justin attempts to be Andrew Tate in not just his courses and the way he dresses. You see it in his new way of speaking too. I say new because this was not the hipster Justin we knew from his hipster cold approach days. Now it's women ain't shit, and I have 400 girlfriends, etc, etc. He took every bad quality out of Andrew Tate, magnified it by 100, and removed all the good qualities and called it a day. There's no shame in looking to people who have done what you're trying to do but do it better. Learning from them, taking bits and pieces and improving on them. That's actually pretty common practice, and my channel wouldn't be where it is today if I didn't get inspired from other commentary channels. That being said, you gotta have your own lane and your own draw. This guy is literally just bootleg Andrew Tate from Team. Andrew, for all his faults, you know, like trafficking and also exploiting young men, at least he was charismatic. Say what you want about the man, but he was funny, and when it came to women, there was no faking about it.
4-time kickboxing world champion.
Whoa!
Trillionaire. Humble. all around nice guy.
Dominant.
Dominant? Would you describe me as dominant?
I mean, I want you to.
As you can tell, those women were at the very least enjoying his company. I can't say the same for good old Justin here. All he has that's reminiscent of Tate are the inflammatory statements that don't land as well because there's no humor behind it, the button down that isn't as suiting because there's no muscle behind it, and a course that is less captivating because there's no substance behind it. While delving into the reviews of this guy, I found a review that alleges that he even fakes the women that he's seen eating the face of in every video. And of course, that checks out. Justin is a club and party promoter, so he very obviously leverages this to get these women to be around him. Now, this is all my speculation, but to me, it seems that Justin either leverages his status as a promoter to get girls to come to his parties and then tells them to be in his videos for entry, or he just outright pays them to come to his parties / clubs. And of course, men pay to be where women are, and the business just flows through that. The other option is that 20 women are genuinely holding this guy's hand in public and they're all presumably dating him. Again, just my speculation, but there's just something that seems so far-fetched about that. The truth is, everyone in this dynamic is mutually benefiting and using each other. The club and parties are using Justin to get girls, the girls are using Justin to get parties, and Justin uses the girls to get suckers. The only person who is unaware of this pyramid of exploitation, besides the suckers, is Justin himself.
They know if they f around, I'm gonna kick them out of my crib and go hang out with other girls.
The girls aren't worried about you leaving them and giving your love and devotion to someone else, bro. They're worried about you not getting them in the club for free the next time or helping them skip the line.
Hi, sweetheart. What are you up to? I have a question. When are we getting married?
You tell me.
Can we get married this week?
Yeah, if you want to.
Do you promise?
If you want to.
You mean it?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it.
In this same interview, he tries to show how infatuated all of his girls are with him, and all it really shows is how disconnected from reality Justin is. That doesn't sound so much like a girl excited to get married to her millionaire boyfriend. Instead, it sounds much more like a girl saying whatever she needs to say and trying her damnedest to sound interested so she can continue to get the benefits using Justin gives her. The reason she didn't care about it is because she doesn't love you. A girl who actually had any feelings for you past a business partner would not be down for this in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, if she had an adverse reaction, that would be a bigger sign she was into you. Justin's telling a story about how some girl he picked up at the bar manipulated him, but in his own head, this is a win. In accordance to his new Andrew Tate persona, he realized that money doesn't just end at selling doomed men a fantasy of women. Nope, truly begins when you start selling men a fantasy of money and women. He went from never speaking about how rich he was, or even really making that a sticking point in his videos, to him talking about his wealth more than his promise of women. Like I said, Justin took all the bad things and left the good. In the case of Justin, everything seems forced and pretentious. This is true even for him pushing his luxury lifestyle. Sure, Andrew was braggadocious, but it's very obvious that Andrew's actually rich. And two, he was funny about it as well.
Now I'm like rich as I get tons of girls. I'm rich as I make more money than him. I get more than him. Shut the up, because I'm rich and I hundreds of women.
All Justin does is talk about how much money he has, repeating the same buzzwords over and over again. This isn't just to stroke his own ego, it's for a very specific reason. And if you've been on my channel long enough, you know what's coming. He's selling guys the idea of being rich. Want to know how to blow up on YouTube and become a millionaire? Fake your lifestyle, say you're a millionaire online, have people pay you to teach them to become a millionaire, and then profit. It's as simple as that, because a lot of people don't do their due diligence, and especially when you're in a state of ignorance along with desperation, whether it's due to lack of money, love, or both, that's your most vulnerable time. People like Justin know this. I highly doubt this guy's ever touched $1 million, and if he did, I'd bet my life it was on the backs of the people he was teaching to make $1 million before he even got there. Like many of these wealth gurus, his advice is extremely vague. Just look at one of his video titles, How to Build Wealth Through Problem Solving. I know titles can only be so many words, so hopefully inside there's more info, right? Wrong.
You know what you gotta do? You gotta be a professional problem solver. Say it with me. Professional problem solver. You gotta figure out how to solve these issues.
Gee, Justin, thanks for telling me to solve problems and get paid for it. Where would I be without you? Needless to say, this is not priceless advice. It's worthless advice. Before Andrew Tate was the talk of the internet, this guy, like the grifter he is, was trying any trending topic to get famous. He actually used to brag about how frugal he is and how he's not flashy with his wealth, back when it wasn't trendy to brag about wealth.
A lot of people think I'm rich and I'm spending all this money on all these things. Actually, to be honest, I live like a cheap little frugal Indian.
So which one is it, Justin? Are you a flashy club promoter who's famous and rich, or are you a frugal saver? Justin Marc isn't a businessman. He's a con artist. He's not a dating expert. He's a club promoter. The only thing he can teach us is what not to do. Even if you could learn something from Justin, one thing I will say is that he seems to have no care about what people think of him, because he honestly takes criticism quite well. No striking down videos like the Saint and the Sinner, no raging on live stream like Donovan. He just takes it in stride. However, you can learn these skills of taking criticism with grace from many other people who aren't asking you for hundreds of dollars. And besides, I think he takes criticism very well because he's too obtuse to realize people are laughing at him and aren't actually interested in him. Either way, there isn't much to leave you guys with this time. This guy is more so just to laugh at. He's not convincing or even dangerous at all. Just realize it's essential to scrutinize people who are presenting themselves as experts, especially when they're charging exorbitant fees for their so-called wisdom. Look for genuine credentials, verified testimonials, and a consistent track record of success. Justin Marc lacks all of these. Remember, someone passing the eye test isn't always the best way to see if they're legitimate or a scammer, but it usually is. Always make sure to dig deeper and ensure you're not falling for a well-packaged facade. Thank you guys once again for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoy these types of videos, and check out more on my channel. Also consider supporting me as a member. You get perks like sneak peeks, video suggestions, and much more. Anyways, peace out, y'all.